Hi, and welcome to the BookishStitcher podcast. My name is Jeanette. You can find me on Ravelry, Instagram, Goodreads, and Periscope as BookishStitcher, all one word. I hope you've had a wonderful week since I last podcasted, and I hope you were able to see the last one. I know some people had trouble viewing it. It was my Rhinebeck recap with my friend Lauren. And if you weren't able to see it, I'm going to post a direct link so that you can view it directly from the host that I have for the podcast, and that will be in the Ravelry thread under this episode. There will be a direct link thread so you can go there and click if you weren't able to see last week's. And it was really fun recording that with Lauren and uploading the pictures and a lot of editing. Basically, when I got back from Reinbeck, that took 2 days to edit and stuff. So not as much knitting this week, but there's been a ton of reading. So this week we've had in Texas or in San Antonio the last few days, not today, but the last few days we've had torrential downpour and flash flood warnings and all just a deluge of rain, so much rain. And so I have been just snuggling at home with the kids and reading books. I thought of going to the post office yesterday because I have a whole bunch of prizes for you guys that I need to mail off, but then I thought, with flash floods, I think it's just best for me to stay at home. So I will get those off to you next weekend, provided that there aren't any more flash floods. So I stayed at home and just read. And this has been a crazy week of reading because of the weather with all the rain. We don't get a lot of rain here in San Antonio, but we need it. So it was good to have gotten all that. But since we don't get a lot, I really love rain. Is one of my favorite weathers. There's things to come from the sky other than snow. But I like to just sit in this chair that we have, which is right over there, and curl up with a blanket or a shawl and tea and read. So I finished 3 or 4 books this week. I think I finished 3 and got a big chunk read out of 2 more. And you'll see in the book review this week, one of the books I am going to be reviewing is one I just finished yesterday. And then today, the rain finally kind of cleared up. It was still kind of overcast, but it wasn't pouring. So we did our yearly tradition. My family, we headed out an hour and a half away from where we are in San Antonio, which is upper side of San Antonio, to this tiny little town in the hill countries of Texas that has the most amazing pumpkin patch. And they have an apple orchard and all just kind of wonderful things. There's a pumpkin, and there's a maze with hay and pumpkins and pumpkin painting and face painting and folk songs and just everything you could ever want at a little carnival thing for October. So it's our yearly tradition. We take the kids up there and we go and we just hang out for a few hours and paint pumpkins and get our pumpkins and come back. So that's what we did today, and it was just wonderful weather for it. It was cooler. It wasn't in the 80s finally. It's 60s, and it didn't rain on us, so that was great. I take a quick sip. I have my Halloween mug, but that's what I did this weekend, and I have some FOs to show you. The first one I'm going to show is the one I forgot to show last week. I just forgot to pull it out of my suitcase and take it over to where Lauren and I were podcasting. But these are socks that I finished, and this is the Jelly Bean. No, this is Lollipop Yarns in the Jelly Bean colorway. And I love, you can see how that's variegated right there. It's like the solid, and then there's a variegated darker purple. And it's just my standard way of doing striped socks is toe up with a fish lips kiss heel. And they fit really, really well. And then the next thing I finished is the Corby hat by Willie Wormhead. And this is a present for my best friend's daughter. Be for Christmas, and I just used some leftovers. Around Christmas time, I love to make hats for kids using leftovers to kind of get rid of scraps and stuff. And it's just some Frabtus fibers in the green, and like a light lilac, purple, and then blue, and then a dark purple in the green again. And I think it's really cute. It almost reminds me of a flower. And this is going to be for her younger daughter. And I showed you guys a couple weeks ago the hat that I knit for her older daughter. So yay, 2 finished objects. What do I want to show you next? Okay. This is in my bird legs bag. This bag is perfect for, you loop it around your wrist and then you open it and you pull out your knitting and you knit while you walk. It was funny because when I was in Rhinebeck, people kept wondering if I was going to bump into things knitting and walking, but I do it all the time, and my mom thought it was very funny that I was just like, you knit while walking. Yes, I knit while walking. I used to do it in my neighborhood sometimes when I would walk, but I got really weird glares, so I don't do that anymore. But walking and knitting at a knitting festival was fine. And this is some Jinx yarn in the October Rainbow, which is the most beautiful fall color. You see, I finished the one, and I like quite a tall cuff, and just the same way I do my socks. And you can see the rainbow progression, but it's kind of like an autumnal rainbow, so. And then I started, just barely, the next one. But I definitely know that I will have these done by the end of the month, because self-striping socks, for me, I can finish them in a day, a sock a day, or a pair in 3 days normally. But that's what I knit on the way up in the hour-and-a-half drive to the pumpkin patch. I knit on that and one other thing. And then the next thing I have is in my new favorite bag, because it was given to me at Rhinebeck by Gabby Gales. And it's the Once Upon a Corgi bag, and there's the little corgi. And I don't know if she knew this, probably not. I have a corgi. We have a Pembroke Welsh corgi. He's a tricolor corgi, and he was actually a honeymoon present to my husband and I when we got married, and his name is Dylan. And he's the happiest dog you'll ever meet. So inside of this is my new addiction this week. The next project you'll see, I was not really wanting to work on, so I used this as my reward. So I told myself, knit a couple rows on that, and then you can knit a row on this, because this project I'm in love with. And I just wanted to say thank you so much to Cersei Bellsby for gifting me this. This is the Cablelicious Beret, and she actually, since we're having the Hat Cal in our group right now, on the BookishStitcher podcast group on Ravelry, all the month of October we're knitting hats. And she has a coupon code for all of her hat patterns, so definitely go and check it out. The coupon code is HATCAL, HATKAL, all lowercase letters, and then 40. And that is to get percentage off of her hats. So it's a great percentage off, and she has some amazing patterns. This is the Cablelicious Beret. Look at that. I love I am in love with cables right now. And the yarn that I'm using, look at that stitch marker. The stitch marker makes me smile. It is little happy rain boots. They're red rain boots with polka dots and a blue background. And the yarn is kind of showing true to color. It's a little bit bluer. It's like a bluish gray. It's perfect for the name. And this yarn is some Bumble Birch, and it is forage, the 4-ply worsted weight. And the colorway is Winter Solstice. And there's the information. And I was in this club last year, and I'm really loving this because I am knitting up the yarn before the club, so it's been less than a year since I was in this club, and I'm using the yarn up. So I'm really loving how this feels. So I think I'm going to try to do this from now on. Lauren and I actually made a pact that we're going to use up all our Rhinebeck yarn before next Rhinebeck, which shouldn't be too hard for me. I think I've got total 7 or 8 skeins, so it won't be hard for me to do. I think she can do it too, because she didn't get a ton. But yeah. And this is the Cablelicious, and I highly recommend it if you like cables. It's so pretty. You can kind of see. And it wasn't that hard. Like, I memorized it after the first repeat, and I've been really enjoying it. And then the inside of this bag also makes me smile. You see, it's almost little blue flowers. It's really pretty blue plants. So, thank you, Gabby. I am using my bag, and it is still making me smile. And then the last project I have is one that I told myself, you need to finish up some of these older things because it is driving me crazy. So this is in my Bags by Awesome Granny, which is also another very happy bag with my happy whales. I use my project bags for like different moods that I'm in. So I love having happy project bags that make me smile when I look at them because, you know, there's enough in life that makes you not smile, So having happy stuff that you can kind of surround yourself with is a wonderful thing. It's so cute. So in here is my Coraline sweater by Isolde Teague, and it is out of some Madeline Tosh, the Sport Weight Madeline Tosh. I think it's Madeline Tosh Pima. I don't have the label in here, I don't think. No. Oh wait, I do. Okay, yes, I'm right. It's Madeline Tosh Pashmina in the teddy bear colorway. This is the 75 merino, 15% silk, 10% cashmere. Pretty nice base. And this was old stash. I'd bought this yarn to make this sweater, but I just had never done it. So since we're doing the 15 oldest, knit up your 15 oldest skeins this year, this is what I worked on. So I don't know if you remember, but over here I finished the body. That's been done for a while. And then this week I finished the first sleeve. I was telling my husband how much I was not enjoying knitting on sleeves, and he's like, well, you're almost done, because I had about here, it was about halfway, and then I knit all that this week, and I go, yeah, but I still have another sleeve to do, and then we both burst into a fit of giggles because he knew how I was dreading knitting another one. But I'm foraging through and rewarding myself with rounds on the wonderful beret, the Cablelicious beret. So it's that, and these are 3/4 length sleeves because I live in Texas and I don't really need longer. And then I started the second sleeve, and I'm pretty good chunk into it. I hope that I will have finished the second sleeve this week and have joined the yoke. I know if I can just make it to the yoke where there's cables and there's a wonderful pattern, the yoke will fly because it will be really interesting to me. But for some reason, I'm just not. I'm wanting stuff that's to challenge my brain right now, like the cables instead of just the plain stockinette. Oh, it's almost striping on the camera. It's not really doing that in real life, but it's funny how it's almost striping on there. So this will be done. I'm ready to start getting rid of some of the older ones. I really wanted to work on my Halloween Fair Eye or Halloween color work cowl that I'm doing right now in the purple and the black and the neon green. And I did a little bit, but then I realized that I just need to get this sweater done. So I don't know if that cowl will be done in time for Halloween, but it's fine. I will hopefully have other Halloweens to wear it, so I'll get to eventually wear it. And that is all of my works in progress. And then spinning. I've also decided, I started prepping a new thing to spin, and then I decided I have stuff on all my spindles, and I really want to get those off as well. Some of them are really old, they've been on there way too long. If I told you, you wouldn't, well, no, maybe it's just been a year, but that's still a long time. But I want to get those projects off the spindle. That's going to be my next goal. Pick a spindle, get it done. Pick another spindle, get it done. So I'm really feeling in the mood to just pare it down, get the stuff down, get the stuff done that's on the things. And even though I still really want to cast on new things, I'm more feeling stuff needs to be done. So I'm just going to go with that. And then, so that means hopefully that next week I will have spinning to show. I'm going to try to finish one spindle project a week. And then for group news and Ravelry, oh, I forgot to bring it down. This is the hard part, is remembering to bring everything you want to bring. Okay, so group news on Ravelry, we are finishing up our hat cowl, and I definitely encourage you to go check out Circe Bell's B, and I have it, her name is Celine. It's CIRCEBELLES and then a capital B, her patterns, and then the coupon code is HATCAL, all lowercase 40. So go check out her patterns, and I think that code is good till the end of the month. And then our next upcoming cal is the Sparkle Cal, and I meant to bring down, because it starts next week, next Sunday, November 1st. It starts, you can start now, but I'm okay with whatever. But I meant to bring down my skein to show you guys. It is this gorgeous grays and blue and sparkly, of course, and it's another Crafty Girl I can't remember the colorway now, but I was going to ask you for pattern recommendations. I guess I can still ask you and just kind of give you the details. It's a sparkle yarn. It's a fingering weight. It's about, I don't know, between 430 and 460 yards of a fingering weight. It is variegated, but not crazy. So I would like something, I don't want to make socks, I want to go around my neck. So I would like either a shawl or a cowl pattern. So please tell me your favorite shawl or cowls and write them in this episode thread. I'll write the question there just in case you guys forget, that you have knit, because I would love something, and I also would like it to not be really complicated because I want something that I can take on like vacations or to knit night, something like that, because I already have enough stuff that I have to concentrate on and it has to be done at home, like the Fair Isle and the Cavelicious hat and stuff like that. I want something that I can take to knit night and not have to worry about messing it up. So if you have any recommendations, if you have a pattern that you've knit and just really loved, please post it in the Ravelry group thread under this episode. And then we also have the handspun giveaway. I had no idea that so many of you would. I thought like, oh, I don't know, maybe a couple people will want the handspun, but oh my gosh, you guys, you all were really excited about that. And thank you. I don't think my handspun is that great yet. I've only been spinning for 9 months, but I'm just so thrilled that you guys are excited about that giveaway, and I'll definitely do more handspun. I would have done handspun giveaways before now if I had known that people would be interested in that. So you have 1 more week. Next week I will draw for those 2 skeins of the handspun, and I think that is everything. I hope I'm not forgetting anything, but I think that's everything. And then I'm going to show you today some of the things I got for Rhinebeck. I'm going to break it up between the next 2 weeks because I don't have a lot of time right now. But I'm going to show you the yarn I got on Friday at the Indie Trunk Show, and then I'm going to show you the yarn and fiber I got Saturday at Rhinebeck. And then next week I'm going to show you the yarn and fiber I got on Sunday, plus I got a whole bunch of non-knitting stuff this time. I got some pictures, some necklaces, some soaps, some books. I got presents for my daughter, different things like that. And I got a couple bags. Some were given to me and from a friend, and then it's different things. So I'm going to show those to you next Sunday, just kind of break it up and save myself some time. So the first thing that I got, like we talked about last week, we went to the Indie Trunk Show, and it was very, very crowded, and I didn't know what to even get. But at that point, I had been knitting so much, so I was pretty sure I was going to run out of yarn. I didn't end up running out of yarn because the day that it snowed in Rhinebeck, it was too cold to walk and knit, so I didn't end up running out of yarn. But I really just didn't want, I wanted to knit a pair of socks for my husband, so I called him and I said, hey, what sock yarn would you like? And kind of showing him. And this is it's kind of falling apart, but this is the one I got for him. It's White Birch Fiber Arts. And it's in the, I don't know if you can tell from the way it looks, it's great. This is kind of a reference, I think, to Tony the Tiger. I think and it's self-striping, and it's 400 yards of an 80/20 superwash merino nylon. I don't know if 400 yards will be enough to make my husband a pair of socks, so I might have to do contrasting heels and toes in like a black. But that can be done. And then the next thing I got is the same thing Lauren showed you guys last week. It's this gorgeous skein of Rhinebeck Twilight from Sophie's Toes, and it's their superwash merino. This is going to be a hat for me, hopefully, for next year's Rhinebeck. Because I do want to go back, but I want to do it differently. Next year, I want to spend less. I don't want to do much shopping. I don't know. I just really want to, like, on Friday, message you guys and be like, hey, let's go to a coffee shop and let's just sit for a couple hours and talk. Because I don't feel that I got enough time talking to any of you. It was, are you Jeanette BookishStitcher? And then like a couple minutes, or, you know, talking maybe just a little bit. And I got tons of time with Lauren, of course, because I stayed with her, but I wanted more time with all of you. I wanted to sit and talk and really get to know you as a person instead of a couple words here and there. So I would love to do that next year and maybe just meet up with people and follow them around. That sounds odd, but follow them around while they shop so I can talk to them and get more time with them, because that's the thing. I really didn't get enough in-depth time talking to the ones of you that I met. And I'm so sorry for the ones of you that I didn't get to meet. I was at the podcaster meetup, but because the whole overwhelmingness of it, I was at the very corner of the hill. I wasn't in the throng. I was still in the area, but I was at the edge of the area because that's what made me the least nervous. And so what I got at Rhinebeck, I believe Lauren talked about making me go into the booth while she waited in line because I was just so overwhelmed I wasn't going to get anything. But so I wanted to try their fiber, and this is Into the World, and it was a case of everything was pretty, but nothing was the one. Do you know what I mean? When you're so overwhelmed and there's too many choices, sometimes you just can't pick one. And so I just kind of grabbed this one and went like, blip, because I couldn't, there wasn't a certain one that I was like, that's the one, you know? So this is 221B, which is a Sherlock Holmes reference, which I love. I love the BBC Sherlock. And this is a merino bamboo silk, which I love that kind of blend because it's really easy to draft and spin. And it's purples and grays, which I like. Again, it wasn't something that I was madly in love with, but I was like, okay, and I really wanted to try this fiber. So that's one. And then this next one is yarn, and I didn't actually see it until I got up close to paying in line, and I saw it, and I said, can you grab that for me, to someone that was in line in front of us? And they did, and Lauren actually had this colorway and showed it to me at her house, and it was nice that they had it there because I didn't have to take it from Lauren's. I'm just kidding, Lauren, I didn't steal any of your yarn. But this was Follow the Butterflies, and it's so happy and beautiful. It goes from this grayish blue to this very aqua turquoise blue to this royal blue, and it fades into purple and these pinks and finally to a pale, pale pink. You can kind of see, yeah. I just think it's beautiful, and I love that name, Follow the Butterflies. So this will probably be a cowl, and it is 460 yards or shawl of a superwash merino nylon. So it could be socks with that kind of blend too. And then also, while we're waiting in line, I saw that the loop thing was right across from Into the World, and I really wanted to check it out. But again, so many of them were pretty, but there wasn't one that just jumped out to me, so I just said, okay, that one. And this is only my second loop bump that I've ever had. I still haven't spun the first, so I probably shouldn't have gotten a second, but it's fair. Can't really see. It is called Swan Dive, and it's 4.3 ounces of merino, nylon, and Angelina. And I'm not going to take it out, but just, there you go. You can kind of see that better now. I can see that better now. I don't know that I knew it had black in it, but it's very pretty. It's kind of mesmerizing, isn't it, that color? It just kind of sucks you in and makes you want to stare at it. And then the last thing I got, and this was an easy purchase because there were only 4 choices. I saw my friend Stacy of Mustache Yarns, and I had asked her if she had any with her. And she opened her bag. I think she had 4 left, and it's much easier for me to choose from which is my favorite of these 4, rather than which is my favorite of these thousands of yarns that are staring at me. That's too overwhelming. I need less choices. So of the 4 she had left, I like this one best. And it is her Theory yarn. Or wait, it's Theory. 32 skinny stripes. And there's the stats on it. Theory stripes. And it says stash in good health. So this will become socks. I love the colors on that. So that is all that I got the first 2 days. It is yarn or fiber. And it was very funny because I texted my husband when I got back to Lauren's house and I said, guess how many skeins of yarn I bought today? And he guessed 26, which really, husband, that's crazy. For me, I would never buy that many skeins of yarn, and when I would get too overwhelmed. That's for just me personally. But so I said, I bought 2. And he said, woman, you got an empty suitcase, fill it up. So the next day I did buy more, and you'll see next time when I show you. But I just thought that was so funny that he thought I had bought that many and I had bought a fraction of it. So that is all that I have for the knitting, and now on to the book review. And I just want to say I've gotten so many notes and Ravelry posts and meeting you guys in person, people saying that they love the yellow wallpaper. And I'm so glad. It's very creepy, isn't it? And it's for free online. It's a short story. And it makes me excited that you liked it. I wish we could have a book club and we could all get together and discuss the yellow wallpaper with each other. That would be amazing. But we can't. Well, I guess maybe we could do a virtual knit night, virtual book club night for the yellow wallpaper. That might be fun actually sometime, but I just wanted to say that I'm really glad you guys are all enjoying that. Now the book for this week is The Supernatural Enhancements by Edgar Cantero. And I'm going to fully admit that I picked this book up because of the cover. I did. I judged the book by a cover and it's pretty good. So I was in the bookstore and I grabbed this book just because it looked interesting, and it's done in a very amazing style, which I at first wasn't sure if I would like it, but as it went on I saw that it fit the story really well. It's done in, I don't even know how to really show this, but it's done in different, so there are diary entries, there are dream journal entries, there are notepad scratchings, there are letters, there are security camera footage, there's handheld camera footage, there are pictures, there are mazes, there are codes, there's all kinds of, it's not, I think here's one of the pictures, oops, here's one of the pictures. So it's not just a straight novel. And it kind of helped to add to the scariness of this book. And so the premise behind this book is that a person who you never find out their full name, I don't believe, they're just known as A, inherits this very lugubrious mansion from a deceased, like, second cousin or something. So he takes one of his platonic female friends and moves there, and they suddenly discover that it's haunted and start setting up cameras and trying to figure out, but then the story takes a very odd turn in it, and you think it's going to be a ghost story all about this house, but it takes a very odd turn into the supernatural of code breaking and mysticism and a secret society. I was trying to remember that. But all this stuff that kind of, the secret society meets within this house, and so once a year. And so it's all these different kind of elements that kind of come together. The ending was way out of left field. So I don't know if I would recommend buying, I wouldn't recommend buying this, but if you can get it from your library or anything like that, or a paperback maybe, if they have it in that, it was really interesting how it was done, and it was very, it was very suspenseful, and I feel like the media in which it was done with the different elements definitely enhanced the book. So this is The Supernatural Enhancements by Edgar Cantero. And I'll just read the back really fast before I go. On November the 2nd, we landed in Richmond. On the 3rd, we met the lawyer Glue. On the 4th, he's driving us in his Mercedes to our new home, about 3 miles from the center of Point Bliss. The car takes a right turn down the stem of a T. Then we travel along a gravel driveway that shoves the house deep into the estate, hiding it from the main road. The roadside crop fields have been replaced by untamed woods that might once have been gardens. But then the trees halt well before the building, respecting the vast empty court at whose center sits Axton House. And like I said, it's a very lugubrious house. It's very kind of haunted, manner, very somber. So I enjoyed that, and I just wanted to share this with you guys because I haven't ever heard of this book from anywhere else, so maybe it's a book that you haven't heard of that you would like to check out. There you go. And that is everything I have for this week. I wanted to keep it shorter, and look, I didn't. Oops. But I hope you guys have a wonderful week and that you get to do all the things you love. Okay, bye.